Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 20th of May 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE100. Now looking at this index today, right now it sell off this morning and traveled lower, but found good support near this 7,280 zone, which is not far from the 200 EMA, because this is what exactly what it tested on this 4-hour chart. It tested our 200 EMA and then rebounded back above the 7,280 zones. So we're going to continue observing this area. We need to see a nice good close, not only below the 7,280, but I'd also ideally would like to see a nice good drop in a close below this 200 EMA. This way we could then target lower areas. We could target the area here around the 7,218-20 zone, approximately there. But if that fails to withhold, yep, further declines are possible towards this key area of support near the 7,150 zone, which was tested last week and also on the 25th of March. So for now, guys, yes, we did have a slide lower. In a way, it could continue dropping further down, but to be honest, we need to see a nice good confirmation break in a close below this 200 EMA. And then we could target lower areas. For now, as long as it kind of remains trading above this 200 EMA and above this 7,280 zone, in a way this little slide here could have been just maybe like a small temporary correction before another leg of buying. The only issue here is that for now what we're going to do here is we're going to wait for a pop above the 7,355 level marked by the highs of last week. Before kind of aiming for higher levels, we would like to see a nice good close above the 7,355 level. So for now, guys, we're gonna remain somewhat neutral on this one and continue observing these key levels, the resistance level right here near the 7,355 and the support level near the 7,280, but as well as the 200 EMA, which is just slightly below that. So for now, this is the game plan. Of course, be very careful with this one. On one hand, like I said, it did slide lower today, this morning, but on the other, it still is above its 200 EMA. So if this continues to kind of, if this remains here above the 7,280, maybe we could see some more buyers jumping in here potentially and pushing this one higher again. Now if we see a push above the 7,355, initially we're not going to target the levels too high. We're just going to aim for the 7,420 zone, approximately there, which is also kind of coinciding with this downside resistance line taken from the highest point of May 2018. So and then we'll just take it from there, see if it actually wants to continue pushing higher or not. But for now, that's the game plan. Jumping into Nasdaq100, so Nasdaq, looking at the cash index right now, Nasdaq is selling off, and well, it already did sell off a little bit. So looking at this chart here, you can see that last week the index got held here near this 7,605 level, approximately there. It kind of failed to close above it, but it closed the week just kind of bang on this 100 EMA around the 7,505 level. So looking at the cash index right now, we can see that the price is already kind of below the 7,400 zone even. So that's why we could see a nice, well, we will see a nice gap to the downside here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to keep a close eye on the 7,354 level approximately here near the lows of the 15th of May, and this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the bears if we see a further decline here and a break of this 200 EMA. And but ideally, to be honest, for us, let's say, to get comfortable with lower levels, we would like to see a nice good break and a close of at least of the 4-hour candle below the 7,307 level, which is near the lows of last week. So in other words, this is what we're looking for before we're considering further declines. This way, if we do see a drop below the 7,307 level, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could then target the 7,205 area, or even actually going further down. For now, be very careful with this one, even though, like I said, looking at the cash index right now, it is sliding, but let's see how this day is gonna go along, because we may see maybe a small reversal as well. The only thing is that with the upside here for us, and this is what we're going to wait for, we need to see that nice good pop above the 7,605 level again, ideally a close of the 4-hour candle above it, and then we will target higher areas again. So initially, of course, we'll aim for this 7,675 zone approximately there, but if that fails to withhold, we'll continue climbing slowly higher. Another good potential target could be around here near the 7,740, but if that fails to withhold, yep, we could be targeting the all-time highs again. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. First, let's see how this day is going to go along. For now, like I said, it is kind of on a slide, looking at the cash index, but let's see if the bears can continue pushing this one further down below the 7,307 level. Jumping into gold. So this was something that we threw out here on our TradingView account on Friday, and basically what we said here is that keep a close eye on some of these key support and resistance levels. So at that point we were trading here near this downside resistance line, but the idea that we've threw out here, that a short-term, very short-term idea, of course, a drop below this this level right here near the 1285 zone could potentially lead towards this area, well, in a way it could lead towards this upside support line. And let me just show you what I'm talking about. So this upside support line has been running here for quite a while now, so, since around the August, around mid-August, and this upside support line, kind of, you can see that it already broke to the downside, but as you can see now, the bulls are trying to push it back. Now, in a way, this, of course, this scenario has been completed now. That's great. We will keep this idea still, because if we see, of course, a strong push higher and then we see a nice good break above the 1301 level, this is where probably more bulls could start getting excited. This would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then target the highs that we saw here back in April. For now, of course, the upside is slightly off the table. Let's see how this day is gonna close, how the daily candle is going to close, because for now it's a bit of a let's say we're neutral on this one, because on one hand, yes, it showed that it wanted to travel lower. It showed the fact that it broke this upside support line again, but now you can see that the bulls are trying to push it back. For us, let's say to get comfortable with the downside, well, initially from the very short term perspective, ideally we'd like to see a drop below the 1273 zone. This way we could then at least target the 1266, but the 1266 barrier is the one to watch in the near term, because if we do get a drop below this and we do see the commodity closing below this level, the 1266, now this is where it could turn out to be ugly for gold and we could see further declines, but we'll evaluate that again if we see this move towards this area, towards this 1266 zone. For now, guys, long story short, basically for now we are slightly on the neutral zone here. We are going to continue. We'll keep a close eye on the 1273. A drop below this could potentially lead towards the 1266 zone, but if it pushes back above here, back above the upside support line, travels towards the 1281 area, still this little area for us is still kind of somewhat neutral. If we see a push above the 1288, 89, something like that, approximately there, then yes, we could potentially target the 13 area, 1301. But for those who like to take it more cautiously, then a break above the 1301 could be that gateway towards higher levels. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. AUDNZD. Very quickly on this one, so it had a nice opening gap here to the upside this morning, traveled higher, but quickly, as you can see now, it's retracing. So this was the level that we were keeping a close eye on. Now, I talked about this one last week. Basically, a nice good push above the 1.0565 zone could open the path towards higher levels. For now, as long as it remains above this 1.0565 level, well, we will continue actually aiming higher here, at least for a little bit, at least for a short while. Now, I'm not saying that this is where the the Australian dollar will start strengthening and pushing up and away, but still a bit more upside could be possible if this remains above the 1.0565 level. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on this one. It's going to be very interesting to see if it actually can reverse and push higher again towards, at least towards the 1.0617 zone, and then we'll just take it from there, see what it wants to do. Does it want to break it to the upside or not? If this suddenly, let's say, drops back below the 1.0565 and drops below the 200 EMA, now this is where it's going to get back into this little neutral territory for us, because for us, in order to consider further declines, well, we'll take a more conservative approach here and wait until we see a drop below the 1.0510. This way we could then target the 1.0473 area, which marks the low here of the 3rd of April, and if that fails to withhold, then yep, further declines could be possible as well. But for now, long story short, guys, in terms of the upside, we are keeping a close eye on this 1.0565. If it continues to hold, we could see the bulls jumping in on this one again, potentially driving this one towards the 1.0617. If we do see such a move, then and if we do see a hit of this level, then we will take it from there, see what it wants to do after that. But if it starts dropping below the 1.0565 and the 200 EMA, it may slide a little bit lower here. For us, let's say, like I said, from the very short-term perspective, we'll keep a close eye on this level right here at 1.0510, and a break below this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could then target lower areas. So this is the game plan for the AUDNZD. Let's see if these levels actually prove to be correct. But jumping into another pair very quickly here, GBPCHF, which is, well, it's a bit of a tragedy here, to be honest. And as you can see, it continues to travel lower below this 1.2916 level. So that happened last week. So it managed to push lower, managed to find good support here near the 1.2850, from which it rebounded today. And but as you can see, this is where the selling kind of is coming in again. It's driving it below this 1.2850. Now it's aiming for that lower low now. The only thing is that we're trying to find a good support area for this one here. Now the next potential area of support could be seen maybe around here, around this little low that we saw here back on the 22nd of January, and that was near the 1.2838 zone. So this one, sorry, not the 1.2838, but the 1.28. Let me just get this one right, guys. 21, something like that, approximately there, guys. So basically this is where we're going to be keeping a close eye on. If you want, you can round it up towards the 20, so the 1.2820 could be that nice potential target right now for GBPCHF. If that fails to withhold, now it can continue sliding lower towards the 1.2675 area, approximately there, which marks the low of near the lows of the 21st of January. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. Very good potential target. But then again, looking at this chart here, like I said, it's even if you're trying to find a potential reversal point here, it's really proving it's difficult to do that, and like I said, for now it is sliding lower. Let's see if it actually reaches this 1.2820 zone. It's not far from there, and to be honest, I mean, by the time I'm talking, it'll probably already could reach that. So keep your eyes on this one. Let's see if it holds. If it holds, we may see maybe a small correction, but if it doesn't hold, then yep, further declines towards the 1.2775 level could be possible. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's USDJPY. Not going to spend too much time on it, but this is what I was talking about last week. Basically, it managed to reach this key level of resistance here near the 110.25. I talked about this one last week, and now I can see that it tried to push above it, but kind of failed to close the 4-hour candle above this 110.25, and now it's sliding a bit lower. Not saying that this is going to roll over now and travel further down, because we still have this little tentative upside support line here running from the lows of the 15th of May. So it's a very tentative one. Don't kind of really focus too much on it. Just you could in a way just have it on your chart. So in a way, if we see a further slide lower, and if it struggles to overcome this upside support line, then yep, we could see another leg of buying here. This would confirm already a higher low, but still, for better confirmation, ideally we would like to see a push, a nice good push above the 110.25. This way the pair would open the path for itself towards the 110.45 or even this 200 EMA. In terms of the downside, well, we need to see a drop below the 109.70. Ideally, this is where we will then target these last week's lows near the 109.30 or even actually the 109 level itself. So for now, basically, long story short, let me just put a few arrows here for our future reference. This is what this is what I mean here. We need to see that nice good pop above the 110.25 in order to aim for slightly higher levels. But in terms of the downside, a drop below the 109.70, that's what we're going to be looking for in order to consider at least the lows of last week. Okay, guys. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. And if you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Trader's Espresso, as always, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.